Hi, I'm Barbara Calvi, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I want to welcome you to the Couples Corner. Today is part 2 in my 4-part series on fighting, how to do it better. Last week, I covered the 4 things that couples do during fights that are only going to inevitably escalate the fight and ensure that there's no resolution. Today, I'm going to talk about the ways to stop doing that and what to do those things and what to do instead. Number 1 was chronic bickering, I'm constantly complaining and picking at my partner. And as I said last week, behind every complaint is an unexpressed want, wish, or desire. So if you find yourself constantly picking at your partner, or your partner's letting you know you're constantly picking at me and criticizing me, take a breath, take some time to really reflect on what is really bugging me right now. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I wanting? You might be one of those people that is not sure what you want, and that's part of the problem. You just know that there's something that doesn't feel right. Sometimes it takes a while to learn to figure out what we want. Or you might be one of those people who knows what you want, just don't know how to ask for it directly. So this is the time to take the time to either figure it out, what it is, and then speak up, or figure out what are ways you are willing and able to approach your partner and really step up and ask for what you want directly. You can start with some very low stakes things. Think of it as an experiment. Notice what happens what kind of a response you get from your partner when you make a simple request in terms to ask for what you want rather than trying to hint around at it or criticize. The second thing was kitchen sinking. That is, not only am I picking and complaining at you all the time, but I keep going to the next example and the next example. And that reminds me of last week when you left your shoes on the floor. And it reminds me of 10 years ago when you did X and embarrassed me in front of all these people. So for kitchen sinking, what you've got to do is, no matter how tempted you are, no matter how justified you feel you are, this goes down an endless spiral that's not going to be helpful. So you've got to tell yourself to stop one thing, only one thing at a time, no matter how tempted you are. If you have to, take a break, leave the situation, and go write out the list of all the things that are coming to mind, of all the terrible things that you want to pick your partner for. Once you've got the list complete, put it aside. You can come back to it and just focus on that one thing that you originally wanted to talk about. Number 3 was the confirmation bias. I've decided in my head that you're a disorganized slob and you don't care about me. Everything you do is evidence that that is true. So this is where you need to, when your partner tells you, but wait a minute, I did X on Thursday, I did Y on Friday, you need to listen to them. First of all, don't dismiss it, but listen to it and acknowledge it, and then start to train yourself to catch them for every attempt they make, everything that they do that you've been asking for. It will be difficult at first because there's a part of our brain that actually makes us notice the things that we expect, and we often miss what we don't expect. So this is a time you have to do a conscious override and really start to focus on catching your partner doing the things that you've always asked them to do. And the number 4 was fundamental error, attribution error. And that's when, oh, you did this thing, it's because you're a bad person, it's because you're lazy, it's because you're a slob, it's because you don't care about me. Oh, I happened to do the same thing. Oh, it was circumstances. I'm late because I got stuck in traffic. So that's where you really need to be disciplined and remind yourself to focus on the behavior. This isn't about your partner as a person. This is about the behavior, and address the behavior. Do not make general statements about who they are as a person. That's really hard to come back from. There's no way to resolve that between two people. And it leads to a lot of resentment and a lot of bad feelings continue to escalate. So join me for part 3 next week when I talk about, what about those same 2 or 3 fights that you have over and over and over and over and over again? Until next time, take good care.